My name is Deborah, and you are joining me for another Women Crush Wednesday. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Today's Women Crush Wednesday is all about an author that I absolutely adore. This book was published in 1847 and was an instant bestseller and has actually never been out of print since 1847. It actually influenced many authors after her. It was the first book that was written from the perspective of a child, and Charles Dickens actually says that it heavily influenced David Copperfield. If you don't know who I'm talking about yet, let me introduce you to the incredible Bronte sisters, but specifically Charlotte Bronte. And the book, of course, is Jane Eyre. So there's many aspects of this story that are actually based on true events. Come on, I'll tell you all about it. Fact number 1. Lowood, which is the school that Jane attends that has horrible conditions and in which she is treated completely horrendously, is actually based on a true school that she attended. The school was full of terrible conditions. The children were not treated well. They were often starved, beaten, and the school was wrought with diseases. Unfortunately, after her and her sisters left, Mary and Elizabeth ended up getting tuberculosis and died soon after. So the second similarity between Jane Eyre and Charlotte Bronte's actual life was the historical house, and the madwoman, which is in Jane Eyre, was actually based on a real place and a real woman who lived there. Jane Eyre was actually not her first published work. Her first book was a joint venture between her sisters, Anne, Emily, and herself. They pooled all of the money that they had and published a book of poems under a male pseudonym. Unfortunately, after this book of poems was published, the rest of her family also died, except for her father, who was her only remaining relative. Charlotte Bronte was an extremely independent woman. She was actually proposed to 4 times and turned them all down. It was only until the 4th, Nicholas, and she became great friends that she actually agreed to marry him when she was 36 years old. Tragically, Charlotte Bronte died at the age of 39 when she was pregnant with their first child. The doctors couldn't figure out what it was, but now historians have decided that it was definitely extreme morning sickness, the same sort of morning sickness that Kate Middleton suffers from. And that's what's so tragic. If she would have been alive during today's times, she could have been saved with proper diagnosis and care. Charlotte Bronte was an extremely important woman, a true feminist in her own right. In fact, her sisters once begged her to change the character of Jane and to make her more beautiful because they thought that the plainness of the character would turn off her readers. Charlotte stood by her morals and decided that she wanted this character to be different than all of the others in the romance novels of the time. Thank you so much for joining me for another Women Crush Wednesday. Next week, we've got another amazing industry woman. We're actually going to talk about the woman who first invented the boom microphone. See you next week. Bye! If you have a badass woman that you want me to feature on Women Crush Wednesday, make sure to let me know. Send me a comment, post, carrier pigeon, snail mail, whatever. I will get it.